Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Chelsea and I help people awaken to their true authentic selves. In today's video, we're going to be talking about spiritual awakening. Are you awake? Wait, are you guys even awake right now? I'm going to share my experience on my spiritual awakening with you guys, as I always do, to help you grasp and get a better understanding. We're going to be diving deep on what a spiritual awakening technically is, and kind of, just go from there and explore everything. I found a really good definition of what a spiritual awakening is. I'm going to read that to you guys now so we can get an understanding. It is an awakening of a dimension and reality beyond the confines of the ego. The ego is our exclusive sense of self or I. The awakening occurs for whatever reason the ego somehow lets go so that the higher self can arise within. And that is just the most beautiful, in my opinion, almost spot on definition of a spiritual awakening. Okay, so now we're actually going to dive a little bit deeper and talk about the ego versus the higher self. So the ego is all the program, all the conditioning, all the trauma, just really your sense of I am Chelsea, I am here in nature, I have a house, I have a job, I. It's really driven by pleasures. The ego is possessive because it experiences itself separate from everything else. The ego has to learn knowledge, whereas the higher self already knows because the higher self is. So the higher self is neutral, the higher self is calm, understanding, intuitive, as above, so below. The higher self already knows and is. So let's not mix up your spiritual awakening with your psychic abilities or your psychic awakening. So for me and with spirituality, let me back up. So with spirituality, I want to let you guys know that every single person's spiritual experience, spiritual awakening, psychic abilities, everything is going to be different from everyone else's. Like, not one person. I mean, sure, there are similarities, but everyone's is different. So with your spiritual awakening, you truly need to learn how to listen to yourself and trust yourself, because what I say and what other YouTubers say and what your mom says and whoever else, they're not going to know like you know, because you're you. I'm not you. I can share my experiences and help you, but I can't tell you, if that makes sense. For me, my spiritual awakening happened before I developed my psychic abilities. So let me go backwards a little again. I do believe as a kid I did have some psychic abilities. But as we get older, traumas and conditionings and programs kind of block it. So just starting here from like my spiritual awakening happened first before my psychic abilities developed. So when you awaken your psychic abilities or develop your psychic abilities, I say awaken because we all have them. From birth, we all have them. What you're actually doing is developing your pineal gland. You're actually opening it, which is your third eye. That is going to cause you to sense, to see, to know, to hear, and some people even to smell and to taste beyond this 3D reality of space and time. Whereas in your spiritual awakening, you are actually connecting to your heart center and connecting with your higher self. So don't get me wrong, your psychic awakening versus your spiritual awakening, they definitely connect and intertwine, most definitely, but they are different from each other. They stand differently. So with your spiritual awakening, it usually doesn't happen like that, like at a snap at a finger. It usually progresses over time and kind of through different events. As time goes on, well, okay, so let's take psychedelics for instance. When you are on psychedelics, you are in an elevated state of consciousness. You can connect to your higher self easily, and you may even be able to see into other dimensions. But that's all just temporary. It's not like done. I had a trip once, and now I am in tune and connected to my higher self, and I had my spiritual awakening. That's not necessarily the case. It just takes time. So with my spiritual awakening, it was mostly triggered by two things. For one, I have a really close friend, and she was telling me stories about entities, ghosts, and a demon that she had encountered. So from that point, I was like, okay, you gotta tell me everything you know. I want to learn it all. I want to be able to see things. Like, I want it. I want everything. I want to know. Tell me, like, more. That's how my personality is. I wanted to know everything. So she did. She began telling me her abilities, what she sees, how she perceives energy and life and everything. And the second thing that triggered my awakening was actually the same friend. Just the way she spoke to me about her higher self and everything she saw really showed me the possibilities and what else is out there. And that really sat me into my higher self and made my higher self arise within. And the last thing I want to share with you guys as far as the spiritual awakening goes is be patient. You have to be patient, because your higher self will show herself or himself to you when you're ready. Don't try to force things. Let it come, and trust me, when it comes, it's the most beautiful, amazing thing. With your spiritual awakening, I could literally talk about it for weeks straight. Like, there's so much to it, and I can go in depth and details for hours and hours. But I obviously don't want to do that because I'm recording a video. So please leave your questions and comments below so I can interact with you guys and answer anything that you may not know or have questions on. And thanks for tuning in. I hope me sharing my experience and kind of diving into spiritual awakening will help you in any way it can. Guys, well, until next time. Peace. Oh yeah, don't forget to subscribe to my channel.